This chapter is concerned with the questions asked in step 3 of the technique. What is not being stated? In this chapter you will learn how to spot the hidden assumptions lurking within arguments. Hidden assumptions are assumptions made within an argument but not explicitly stated. They often have a very strong bearing on the value of the argument. So in the evaluation of an argument, it is just as important to learn how to identify any hidden assumptions as it is to recognize the explicit ones. You will then learn how to schematize arguments in order to show the relationships between the premises and the conclusion. Hidden assumptions also function as unstated premises. It is often the case that an argument is advanced in which nor all of the premises are actually stated. Sometimes this results from the fact that the arguer assumes that her audience already believes the premise or premises to be true. In other cases, the unstated premise can result from mere oversight. In still others, assumptions may be intentionally hidden because the arguer wants to manipulate her audience into accepting a conclusion with which they might nor otherwise agree. In still other cases, cultural differences might blind one to the assumptions of another. For example, when President George Bush visited Australia, he responded to a cheering crowd by holding up his hands in the classic "V for Victory" sign. What he didn't realize is that in Australia, the same gesture has a significantly different meaning. The audience became angry when they assumed that the president was showing the same sign of contempt that is often experienced on American roadways. A logical or critical thinker should be capable of finding and then analyzing the role that hidden assumptions play within an argument. When an assumption is actually stated in an argument, we refer to it as an explicit assumption. Assumptions that are not actually stated are referred to as implicit assumptions. Closely related to implicit assumptions are implications. Although the term has a technical meaning, we employ its common meaning. An implication is a claim that directly follows from another claim in such a way that if the initial claim is true, the implication must also be true. For instance, the statement "Karen enjoyed her trip to Paris" can be construed as implying that Karen visited Paris. As in the case of hidden assumptions, we should be careful to identify and criticize any of the implications of the statements within an argument. Although an implication may not have a direct bearing on the development of an argument, the psychological effects can often influence an uncritical thinker. Once you have discovered all of the implicit assumptions of an argument, you are then in a position to trace the relationships between the premises to both implicit and explicit, and also the argument's conclusion. You will learn to do this through the use of diagrams that will enable you to schematize an entire argument so that you can determine which premises directly support a conclusion, which premises support the conclusion indirectly through support of another premise, which supposed premises have no direct bearing on the conclusion, and which premises are supposed to carry more weight or less weight than other premises.